job of streaming, and I know they're including our audio on that as well. So that's kind of fun. And a little bit later, as we get to the final, Brad, yeah, I know you know the folks back in Detroit. They'll be carrying our final heat broadcast in Detroit, so that race fans can get a bit of flavor of what's happening out here at the HAPO Columbia Cup. So as far as river conditions go, we kind of know that it's fairly flat right now, and the wind isn't going to be any kind of an issue. The one thing that I see as you look, and Kevin, you can see this on the Pasco side as well, the private areas are gone. There really aren't any located on the Pasco side at all, and that means the real estate's wide open. And for boat race fans, you know that it's just not normally like this, and it won't be like this again, because next year all those private areas will be back.
Yeah, I was actually talking to some of the folks that are off to my left over here, and we were joking about that idea that they don't normally get this view, and so they're taking advantage of it. Big hydroplane fans, and they wanted to get an opportunity to see something that they hadn't yet seen, or at least at an angle they haven't yet seen. And frankly, there's not a bad spot along this river, really, but if you're going to get an opportunity to get to some place you don't normally have access to, why not, right?
Yeah, and especially on the Kennewick shore. And you can see that from where you're at on your perch on Pasco Tire Factory turn number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are tents still up there, but it's not the same setup. It's definitely more of the private tents and people trying to get out and find some shade in the sunshine.
Yeah, and out in the river too. And again, when we get to that qualifying session coming up here shortly, that's time to be up on the shoreline. Boats cannot leave that pit area until the patrol boats give them the go-ahead.
Yeah, no, that'll be the thing too. Is I'm seeing patrol boats wandering through here. There's some folks out in the water. It is going to be quite warm today and tomorrow, so people are going to try to take advantage of it. I do see the green flag on the course, so I don't know if that means we can go qualifying just yet, but the boat out there with the flag that'll shut down the course is not trying to do that. So I'd imagine at this point people need to start making their way up out of the river. You don't have to run out of the river, but just kind of start working your way back, and we'll start to see some unlimited boats out there.
Special thanks on our broadcast to our friends at Farmers Exchange in historic downtown Kennewick for 98 years. Also online at mowerhome.com, and we can start to hear somebody spooling up down in the Lamson pits.
That's the 440 that's pulling away. Dustin Eccles has his top down, so he is heading towards the water. Number 3 still not pushing away from the dock, and Jamie Nielsen's boat is finally in the water. They're taking the slip off of that right now, and it looks like Corey Peabody is getting his boat hooked up, so they'll be dropping him in the water pretty soon too.
And Glenn, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like that 440 may be pushing away first.
Yes, the 440 is off. He's taking a wide turn, so you'll be seeing him heading towards the Blue Bridge here momentarily.
So Dustin Eccles out of Monroe, Washington will be out first. Kelly and Sharon Stocklin, the owners of Bucket List Racing, and that is the U440.
Pretty cool too that the Bucket List Racing folks got 2 boats this year. And we've seen them here every year with the 440 predominantly, and it's nice to see them out here with now 2 boats and the legend of the sport opportunity to play as Dustin goes right by me up the backstretch.
The boat that finished every heat back in 2018.
Yeah, and he doesn't have any points this year, but you know it's not for lack of effort. They've been I think they were at Guntersville. I don't think they made it to Madison, but they had some technical issues, and they couldn't get the race to go the way they wanted it to. And I know that now that he's back, this is close to home this year as they're going to get. So I know he's probably wanting to do really well.
Well, and it was something that they hadn't had to deal with in quite some time, but they had some gearbox issues.
Yeah, and that's not something you'd expect for a boat that isn't necessarily at the top end of the speed, but as you can hear from, if you watch the H1 Unlimited with Brad, or maybe it was a conversation I heard with you with Brad previously, is that this boat can turn 150. It has in the past, so you're just going to see if he can do it again today.
And you couldn't ask for better river conditions.
No.
So we get across the start-finish line with a 440 Bucket List Racing and Dustin Eccles.
Yeah, talking about Dustin down there in that 150-mile-an-hour lap in Guntersville. Sorry to jump on you there, Michael, but I talked to them down in Guntersville as he looks real good through the corner here, and he said, we actually think we could come near a $155 in Guntersville. He said, but to do that, we've got to squeeze everything out of every specific component in the boat. And he says, we're going to stretch them all to the limit. And when that happens, you may break a couple of things. But I'm telling you right now, he looks strong up the backstretch.
He's just dancing right off the water. Just tap, 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 just right off the top.
And by the way, the reason they went first is the 3 wanted a trailer fire. They just yielded the position. They're in the water. They will be ready to go next.
So into turn number 3 at the top end of the course. And at the exit pin of Buffalo Brothers, turn number 4 onto the front stretch. The 440 with Dustin Eccles will get a hot lap time in our first session of qualifying for the 2021 HAPO Columbia Cup across the start and finish, and a 144.771 miles per hour. Probably searching for something a little closer to a $150, right, Brad?
Yeah, I would think so, but they'll be happy with that. Whoa, we flew the boat a little bit as he started to set it up for the lower corner. But right in front of Kevin. Watch his line through the corner, Kevin.
Yeah, he is keeping it pretty tight to the buoy right there, maybe about lane 1.5. He was really able to keep that speed pretty well going up the backstretch, and he's really looking strong for the 440.
And Brad, you know, they were chasing down those issues in Guntersville, and I know they've been putting a lot of time into the boat. Looks like they found it.
It sounds like it for sure. And I talked to Kelly Stockland because the corral is right up above our level, and he came up and stopped on my level, and he and I chatted before he went up on top. And he was talking about how busy it's been trying to run a 2-boat field and everything that's involved in it. By the way, Dustin appears from where I'm standing to be out considerably wider.
Lane 4.
On this one. Give me a speed on that lap when he crosses, Michael. He might have lost some there.
146.056.
Okay, so +2.
It looks like he shut her down, so.
Yep, he's backing off the throttle, heading down the front stretch.
Well, I'll tell you what, Brad, Kelly Stockland might be a lot busier these days, but I can tell you how much, I'm sure it's a lot easier doing 2 boats when one of them is manned by Dave Vilwalk. I suppose that would be a little bit easier on you than others.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's got quite a brain trust down there, and they are still building that field, or excuse me, building that team. They're just slowly adding to it. If you talk to Dave, he'll say that the most important part of any of this is the people and who the people are, and making sure you have the right people. It's going to get a little warmer, and it's going to get a little louder right where I'm sitting, guys, but I think everybody in the Tri-Cities likes this sound, so get ready for it. Jimmy King with the U3, the Griggs. Ace Hardware is away from the dock, hasn't yet started to turn it over, but the nose is out toward the center of the Columbia River.
Well, we don't get to play favorites, Brad, but I can tell you that since Kona's on the side of that boat, we at least have a little soft spot for Jimmy King.
Doggone right.
Well, we can all remember the old Vacationville.
Ah, yes, the vacationville.com back in the day. But it's the Griggs Ace Hardware now. It is away from the dock. Kevin, not only can you see it, you can hear it.
Yeah, in fact, when it gets a little bit closer, my mic will pick it up a whole lot better. He, too, like Dustin Eccles, swinging out way wide, trying to get essentially all the way out to the outside of the lanes and get some speed going that way and heading up the backstretch. But he's just giving us all a shot of what a turbine-powered engine looks like these days as he goes flying up the backstretch in that beautiful red Griggs Ace Hardware boat.
Heading up the Griggs backstretch.
It's
And
what they
there
call
are no-
synergy.
I know.
I was just going to say there are no rules specifically on how you have to leave the pits and enter the race course. You can go around pretty much any of the first 2 outside course markers here. There's many ways you can come, but by the time they get to that one outside course marker that's up closest to the dike, Kevin, they've got to be on the race course. Clearly he was by them, but there is some liberties that the drivers can take when they leave the dock and approach the course. At the drivers' meeting, as it always has been, they will come up, go around the course here on their qualification attempt. They'll get a green flag the first time by, and then it's green, green, white checker. Those are your 3 laps if you want to take them. I will be surprised if Jimmy runs all 3 laps. Look for him to take a hot one and maybe bring it back home, but you've got him. Michael McDonald, put him on a clock.
Cross start finish line. Jimmy King in the 3, Griggs Ace Hardware down the front stretch into turn number 1 for Bunch Finnegan.
Man, looking good, sounding better. Entrance pin to the apex. Kevin, right to you.
Boy, he is just going. Look at that thing, hug the turn, get into the backstretch with just such ease and sound, and absolutely fantastic as the Griggs boat heads down the Griggs backstretch.
You know, at Tire Factory turn number 2, we always call that corner and how boats slough off speed. We didn't see Jimmy King lose a whole lot as he head down the Griggs backstretch into turn number 3 for Golf Universe.
Brad, would there be any value? I know this is qualifying setup, and maybe there isn't. Would there be value in doing all 3 laps just to see what the boat is like out there? Or because it's such a different setup, you're not going to really get much out of it?
Yeah, yes, there would be some value, I assume, if you wanted to use a second and third lap for testing, but we'll see what he wants to do, and that would be because we didn't get the test on yesterday. He's got one in the books. What do you got, Mike? And he's pulled his foot.
155.418 miles per hour. And again, backing up the throttle, heading into turn number 1, and we really haven't seen the boat go out and complete more than 2 laps, Brad, in testing earlier this morning. Wonder what they are searching for.
Well, I don't know that it's a matter that they're really searching for anything. I think they always come here and run conservatively, at least early. And I'll talk to Jimmy King when he gets out of the boat. But I can tell you what he's going to tell me is, no, we just wanted to go out there and run hard and make sure everything's running well, and we don't care about qualifying. We care about the final heat tomorrow afternoon at 4:30. I got a nickel, that's what he'll say. He's kind of had the same mantra for the last number of years. But it's true, they've got those old piston engines. We all know they can be cantankerous, and it's just kind of their modus operandi and what they've done here for many years. Come out, turn one hot lap, they're qualified, they're in the show, and Jimmy brings it back all in one piece, and I think they're all going to be pretty darn happy here with that.
And it's also a bigger course. I mean, this is a longer race. I mean, you're going around harder. So it means you're running the engine harder for longer periods of time during this qualifying.
Absolutely. And we've always said about this boat, it's a player when it comes time for the final heat on Sunday. You know, if Jimmy King gets a clean start and gets, you know, in an outer lane with some speed outside of him, and he gets this thing wound up, gets all these pistons going in the right direction and wound up, this boat's fast. This boat's very fast. Away from the dock is the U11, the J&Ds. And we'll throw it down to Glenn Bogg. And Glenn, if you get an opportunity to get young Dustin Eccles, just go ahead and jump in. And otherwise, all right, I'm going to stand down here and I'll grab Jimmy King.
Yeah, I got Dustin Eccles. Dustin, you were out there.
Good job.
Not as long as you could have been, I guess, but why come back in early?
Well, you know, we use that as our test session. We've only got a few setup things we can change right now with this boat. We came here thinking we were going to be pretty close, and luckily, qualifying, we're right on the money. So I think we ran like mid-140s, and we're really happy with that. All the telemetry says that everything in the boat's happy. The temperatures are good. I'm as happy as I've been in a long time just because of that one factor.
Not having yesterday to test and kind of work out some of those bugs, how does that change how you handle your Saturday?
Well, you just need to make every run more important. The few runs you get, you have to use them to your advantage. And, you know, with us, like I said before, we only have a few different things we can change with this boat. We know it's pretty fast. We're just trying to get it to be, you know, there at the end and hang together. And what we learned yesterday, you know, we worked on the boat the whole time. We've been working on this boat since we left Alabama. And the thing is running good, and I think it's going to live. We're feeling pretty good.
Everybody's new favorite pond weed to hate. Was that an issue out there?
I've never thought I would come to Tri-Cities and have that be an issue here. You know, it just shows you, I heard a lot of the community members stepped up and made it to where we can race. You know, they came up with a way to get everything cleared out. I mean, how cool is that? You know, some good help from the fans and the community here, and just because of that, we're back racing today.
All right, good job out there. I'll let you get some shade and some water. Good job, Dustin.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, and let me jump right in here because I just got Jimmy King, who went out and took one hot lap around the race course, just got the helmet off and the Hans device off. Get a word with him here momentarily.
I'm ready when you are.
Well, you heard that. He's ready when I...
A 153.557 for Jamie Nielsen in the 11 J&D's hydraulics. As he heads into turn number 2 for Tire Factory, headed to Kevin over on the Pasco shoreline.
And he's definitely going too. He's hugging that buoy line on the inside just beautifully. And so the chartreuse is an orange, but I guess it's not chartreuse anymore. It's a new color, and I'm blanking on the new color that we all agreed it was. But it is looking really sharp up the backstretch. Kid from Gig Harbor has got some power this weekend.
Yeah, heading up the Griggs backstretch. Gulf Universe turn number 3. Top end of the course, Rattlesnake Mountain in the background. A little bit of a haze today, and you know, I've got a lot of wildfires burning in the area, and our thoughts go to those that are out there fighting those fires. Off the exit pin of turn number 4 onto the front stretch, Jamie Nielsen across the JMC Motorsports start finish line at 154.257 miles per hour for the 11 J&D's hydraulics. Still foot in the throttle heading into turn number 1 for Bunch Finnegan.
Yeah, he's definitely doing all three out there, and he looks just as good at this one. Pretty consistent so far. Looks just as good going up the backstretch out of turn 2. Out of Tire Factory turn 2, that is. Just kind of gliding along the top of the water. Nice little rooster tail.
How often in Tri-Cities do we have zero wind? You know, I don't
think that's allowed, is it?
It's a pretty flat water condition out there. Into Golf Universe turn number 3. Wall of water off the big skid fin. Comes to turn number 4, a load of Buffalo Brothers. Turn number 4, fans are all around the circuit. Best around H1 Unlimiteds. Onto the front stretch. And another hot lap for Jamie Nielsen at 155.418 miles per hour. So he was able to increase his speed incrementally for each single lap and improve on each single lap, and that means a lot to the team.
What was the 3 again? 155.4 what?
155.418.
Okay, so that was the 11. What was the 3 was 155.4 something
Oh,
too.
I'm sorry. The 3 was 155.418.
Really? So they were the exact same?
The exact same.
I think that's about as likely as us having zero wind in the Tri-Cities, isn't it?
But it all came together that way, Glenn.
This weekend, man.
All we need is less Sago Pond weed and we'll be okay. So back down to the pits, Jamie Nielsen returns in the 11 J&Ds, and who will be pushing away next, guys?
Looks like, is that the 9?
Looks like Dave will.
Oh, okay, so the 40.
The Billwalk is leaving in the 40. Ugh, as I trip.
All right, then
Careful.
the 9's after him.
Yeah, that is incredible. I don't know that I've ever seen that before on a qualification ladder where we would have the exact same score.
I wonder how I guess they add the points and split in between the two.
Well, we'll wait and see what happens.
That's true. That's true. At some point, everybody gets, 30 or whatever it is.
Yeah, they would divide it if necessary.
Yeah.
Special thanks on 610 KONA to our friends over at Farmers Exchange providing our live coverage for 2021's HAPO Columbia Cup. And they are complete commercial and residential power equipment sales and service center year-round. And their manufacturer-certified technicians make sure your machine's running right with free pickup and delivery in the Tri-Cities. Farmers Exchange, they're online at mowerhome.com. Toro, Husqvarna, Echo Power Equipment to get the job done and get you to the finish line quicker.
As Jamie Nielsen's hitting the docks to let you know, the Miss Tri-Cities is getting lowered into the water right now.
Fantastic. Are you going to grab Jamie?
Am I going to get who?
Jamie.
Yes.
Very good. Kind of interested to see.
I'll let him get off the boat first.
Well, that's, yeah. Let him hop out of the cockpit.
I knew you wouldn't like to do your job very hard.
Michael, have you got me?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, sorry. Little battery replaced. Let me
Sure.
give you a quick update on Jimmy King and the 3.
Okay.
We actually had quite the funny interview that nobody heard.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. As soon as we started, I realized I needed some batteries, and it cut out on me, and he says, well, then I'm out of here. And I said, that's okay. I told everybody what you were going to say. And I told him, and he goes, well, first of all, he said, that was the most meaningful interview you and I have ever done. and then he goes on, and he goes, well, what did you tell him I was going to say? And I said, just one fast lap. The only thing we care about is 4 o'clock Sunday. And he goes, that's it. He goes, these Allison guys have told me for years, you've only got so many laps in these Allison motors. Use them wisely.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
But they're very pleased. Very pleased. And did I just hear we had 2 boats run the exact same speed?
Yeah.
Wow. And that was 156?
155.418 for the 3 and the 11.
Wow, very, very good. I'm atop the tower. I am headed down. Glenn, I'll be down there on the dock with you.
All right.
And we'll share duties. I'm on my way.
That sounds good. Bill Walk is out on the water, and very interesting. When he was pulling away, we had some fire coming out of the back of his boat. Usually it's pretty clear, but to my untrained eye, even I could see that orange stuff coming out. Very interesting.
It's part of the dark side.
He is Darth Billwalk after all.
That would explain the Darth Vader sticker.
Well, if you look on the back, if you have field glasses, binoculars, you might be able to see it. There is a Darth Vader helmet, and it says, who's your daddy? Cross start finish line, Dave Billwalk in the Miss Beacon Plumbing, the U40. Dave Billwalk has returned. He is 67 years of age.
He was up there for a bit there off those sponsons off the front of the boat, and he's bouncing pretty good coming down to Tire Factory Turn 2, but he looks awfully fast. And a big shout out to Beacon Plumbing for coming back this year to the H1 Unlimited Series, and so excited to see Dave Wilwalk race again.
Now watch that boat and the attitude of the sponsons up front. It just hasn't really settled in for him, and Brad and I were talking about this earlier in watching some of the video from Madison. In lane number 2, you could tell that he was just not very comfortable with the boat ride and had to back out of it quite a bit, even after he had a perfectly timed start in that championship heat at Madison, Indiana. Exit pin, turn number 4 onto the front stretch, and we'll get Dave Wilwalk.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get to a place where I can see the boat ride coming down. I can't see him yet. How's he doing?
It looks okay, but on the backstretch, he looked like he was darting around a little bit. 154.628 miles per hour for Dave Wilwalk. Still hitting it hard, heading into Bunch Finnegan turn number 1.
Woo, and he picked up the right sponson just as he started to set up for the corner, but that boat ride was a whole lot better than what I saw this morning. A lot of improvement. Kevin, take him through.
Yeah, he's definitely staying a little bit tighter to the water this time around than when I saw him going down into turn 1 with both sponsons up off the water, but he looks like he's settling in. Part of it, too, I'd imagine, is he just needs to get more boat time, get back used to it, get easy feel of this boat. But
Hey, Kevin, I hate to interrupt you there, but we've got the driver of the U11, Jamie Nielsen. Jamie, how did the water feel out there?
Well, the water's great. I mean, as a driver, you couldn't ask for better conditions out there. So whenever you come to Tri-Cities, you get the course all to yourself. It's what drivers dream about, and it was a lot of fun taking this J&D's U11 for a couple hot laps all by myself. It's a lot of fun.
You got above 150, so you feeling pretty good after really the first day you could get out there?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting there. We're still a work in progress, but you know, start off at 155 for the weekend. I mean, not a bad starting point. We got a long way to go. A lot of things we make better, and hopefully by Sunday afternoon, this J&D's will be up there in the 160 range.
Is there anything right now as you come back in that you're just thinking, okay, this is what we got to tweak before we get out there and start doing some heats?
Oh, there's a lot of things. So this is the 3rd race for this new T4 boat, and you know, every run out there, we got a couple ideas how to make it better. So yeah, there's a lot of things. I'll get together with the crew chief, Scott Rainey, and we'll just keep making it better.
I got to get your take on something. The guys up at the tower told me you ran an exact same speed as the U3. In your years of racing, have you ever had an exact speed out to the tenths and hundredths and thousandths of a decimal?
That's pretty unique. I've never even heard about that, so maybe we'll have to go buy a lotto ticket.
There you go. All right, Jamie, thanks so much for the time.
All right, thanks a lot.
And across start finish, Dave Wilwalk, 156.557, eclipsing the 11 and the 3 on the final lap out there. So a 154.628, followed by a 155.044, and that third and final lap, 156.557 miles per hour. Pretty solid performance for the Beacon Plumbing. And again, that will jump over the 3, Griggs and Jimmy King, and the 11, Jamie Nielsen, and the J&Ds, who we just heard from. And that's kind of interesting to see how things will develop as we move through qualifying. The last boat on the qualifying ladder is the boat that we saw turn the fastest lap earlier this morning, but again, that was thrown out because of an N2 fuel flow violation. Let's go back down to the pits, and I know that Brad and Glenn are both down there as Dave Wilwalk is going to be returning in the U40 Beacon Plumbing. And Brad, you've seen this boat out on the course before down at Guntersville, and they had some real issues with air supply for the driver and some other issues with the electrical problems.
Yeah, they had a difficult time just getting away from the dock in Guntersville, and they had gearbox problems. It just was a rough weekend because the 440 never got on the water during racing, and the U40, Dave Wilwalk's ride, he only got out once, and that was in the final as a trailer boat, and then as luck would have it, they ended up standing on a podium in 3rd place. But that was a rough weekend for them. The boat ran much better in Madison. I'm going to ask Dave a little bit about the boat ride this morning versus the boat ride now, because the little bit of the course I could see down here, that boat ride looked much improved.
Yeah, and stability is what they're kind of looking for, because it was, like you said, it was searching. I felt that they were almost darting a little bit back and forth when they were in Madison.
Corey Peabody is away from the dock.
So next up, Corey Peabody in the 9. That's Pinnacle Consulting Group. From Strong Racing, another one of our local boats that has done extremely well.
Yeah, Corey's, this is a boat that knows this race course very, very well. Andrew Tate's been behind the wheel of that one the last few years. Now it's Corey Peabody going under the silver and black colors of Daryl and Vanessa Strong. Pinnacle Peak Consulting. Corey is up on a plane. He's up and moving. Dave Billwalk is still in the cockpit of the 40. Now he begins to climb out. Kevin, that's a good-looking hydroplane right in front of you.
Oh, it is a gorgeous hydroplane, and it is a fast hydroplane. He was the top qualifier down in Guntersville. And while the performance afterwards may be a little bit marred by running into some water, he has definitely got the power in that boat. So we'll see if he can get it going today.
And the difference between the 8, which we will see coming up shortly, and the 9, that fairing that holds the back wing is black. Now on the 8, you'll see that it's a red fairing. So there's a little bit of color differential because there were many fans and also those that were calling the races, including Brad, that said, well, those boats just look exactly the same, and they were virtually identical. So they've changed the back fairing to a bright orange on the 8.
Sometimes it's good to be colorblind. I don't mean to cut you off. Go ahead and take the hard hat off, Mr. V. And let me start with this. Welcome back to the Tri-Cities, my friend.
Oh, it's good to be back here. It's it's one of the special places, one of the real privileges we get to race at.
And you've had a lot of experience on this particular water, as we mentioned a couple of nights ago. You've had some great success here. Maybe your worst day racing here as well. What do you think of when you think of this race course?
I just think of good things. I mean, I don't think about that at all. I think about all the wins and all the good laps we've had out here, and it's just, and it's good people. It's a fun place to come. The people enjoy us, and we enjoy them, and that makes it special.
And you're bringing the boat back to this end of the dock just like you did for so many years.
Yes, it's a good place to be.
Not a bad place to be. Talk a little bit about the run this morning, the test run when we weren't on the air. The boat looked like you were having some handling issues. Looked much better this time.
Yeah, it ran pretty good. It ran pretty good the first time, too. We were just, had a bunch of different new stuff that we put on it to try, and it all worked pretty good. So, we just tuned it up a little bit. Now we'll go tune it up some more.
And we'll see you back out on the water. Go get a bottle of water. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks.
All right, Dave Billwalk right there. He knows his way around this race course. Wow.
Corey Peabody in the 9. Pinnacle Peak Consulting, 151.263 miles per hour, lap number 1. And that's where he starts to lose a little bit of speed coming out of Tire Factory turn number 2, Kevin.
Yeah, and you talked about how this could be the most challenging part of the course is this Tire Factory turn 2. And he really is. It's like he hits a hole in here and just has to find that speed, find that stability again, and then he can get going. But right now, he is struggling a little bit down on this end.
Yeah, on the other end of the course, though, top end of the course, really no issues. It has a lot to do with the current, has a lot to do with what's at the bottom of the river. There's some sort of a ledge over there on that other side, and it just creates a real problem at the exit pin of turn number 2. Down the front stretch at a 153.599 for Corey Peabody out of Kent, Washington in the 9 Pinnacle Peak Consulting. Down into turn number 1 for Bunch Finnegan.
And again, these Western Washington drivers, there's no seafare this year. This is the closest they're going to be to home to race in front of the home fans. So, there's a lot on the line for those folks.
And a lot of them have got their families over here, which they normally do, but I think in many cases, I'm aware of the extended families are here because of exactly what you just said, Kevin. This is their hometown race now. Yeah, it's 3 hours east, but if they're going to see him run and want to be able to drive to it, this is the one they do. Top end of the race course. Looks strong as he goes out of my view with a big wall of water up there off the skid fin, Michael.
Yeah, Rattlesnake Mound in the backdrop as you look upstream. And there's quite a few private boats up there on the anchor line that are in the Columbia River. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast on 610 KONA across the JMC Motorsports start-finish line at 152.705. So lost about a mile per hour on that last lap, as it looks like Corey Peabody will be backing out of the throttle. Is he going to continue? No, he'll head back to the Neil F. Lamson pit. So what's your takeaway, Brad, for Corey Peabody?
What was the speed on that last one?
152.705.
Honestly, I think they probably were hoping for a little bit more.
Yeah, 153.599, lap number 2, his best.
I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that by any stretch of the imagination, but we were talking this morning about 159s and 160s and 162s and 4s, and I think they'd like to find a little bit more out of that boat, but the brain trust is very good. They'll go back and find it. If it's there to be found, there was. Regardless of the timing during this qualifying session, it was made very clear during the drivers' meeting this morning that every boat will have a fair opportunity to run twice.
By the way, this is 4 boats within 2 seconds of, or 3 seconds of each other.
Well, you know, Kevin, that's a really good point. The way that it's stacking up right now, you could throw a blanket over the top 4 qualifiers. They're that close together.
Yeah, we were having a conversation about exactly that you could conceivably qualify this entire field between 155 and 160. Now, you're going to have some guy in a powder blue boat go out and have something to say about that. There's a U-8 Miss Tri-Cities hydroplane up the dock from me there, and I think he's going to have something to say about it. But think about that. If we had everybody north of a $155, we don't have a lot of boats in the pit area, but, man, I'm telling you, the ones we got here are fast and they're competitive.
And don't forget that 12. That 12 is sitting under Bernie's tree because that boat won 2 years ago here at the Tri-City. So don't forget about Andrew Tate and that 12.
Oh, no, he's sitting in the boat right now at the end of the dock, right there where, man, how many times did I walk down this dock and that red boat was sitting right there? But there was a real tall guy aboard. Very tall guy. And, you know, we talked to Dave. You heard me ask him about, you know, he's had so much success on this river. He's won here so many times, I have no idea what the number is. But he's won here many, many times, and I made the comment, arguably he had his worst day ever here, and that would be, you know, 1997, when there was a horrific crash down here in the lower corner with the Miss Budweiser in the final heat. But like he said, yeah, I don't even think about that. I only think good things about the race course.
So, back down to the pits. Who's going to be coming out next, guys?
I'm thinking...
Is it the 8?
It's either the 8 or the 12.
It should be the 8.
Okay. And I think they're ready. Glenn, they got the, they got the lid down.
The nose out.
Yep, here he comes.
Pit reporters, thanks to our friends at American Radiator, keeping the Northwest cool since 1979, so it makes sense that they keep this year's Columbia Cup cool with updates from the Lamson pits. With Brad and Glenn, have heating problems? Solve them at AmericanRadiator.com. Weather forecast, 96 for a high today, and will top out tomorrow at 102. Weather forecast updates thanks to Anderson and Zentz Dental in South Kennewick, 585-2500, and online it's KennewickSmiles.com. Winds should be light, 5 to 10 miles per hour both days. Cooling off overnight, lows expected in the low 60s tonight. So out, heading towards Tire Factory turn number 2.
Again, outside the course. He's taking that big, wide turn off the dock, and then he's going to just dump into the course and get a whole heap of speed coming down the backstretch. And there's the try, by the way. What a nice side of the boat. The try is J. Michael Kelly flies up the backstretch.
Yep, Miss Tri-Cities, and you can see that back wing, and Brad said it was orange. That looks more red to me. Is it orange?
I think it's burnt orange.
Is it burnt orange? All right.
My understanding of the color scheme on that boat was it was black, silver, and Sebring orange. And I'm getting a thumbs up down here.
Yep, I can see it now.
There it is. Came to the colorblind guy for that information. How about that?
Hey, Michael, I've got Corey Peabody here. Corey, how'd you guys run out there? How's the water treating you?
Oh, the water's fine. It was a good time to go out and get qualified and start that. I don't know what our speeds were, but there's a lot more in it, so we're going to see if we can go back out. Not exactly sure, but right now we're just going to get it on the trailer and think about our next step.
One of the numbers we had you was around a $153. Without testing yesterday, without working out the kinks, hearing that number initially, what's your reaction?
Oh, it's fine. It's not necessarily the number, you know, it's what we do in the heats. So, you know, we'll if we run a 153 right there, that's fine. You know, it's not, we don't have a qualifying box in there, so it's that's okay. We're just gonna get on trailer and see what we can do and go from there.
All right. Anything that you were out there, you're thinking we got to address this, that, or the other thing, or do you just do a diagnostic and go from there?
No, everything on the boat is fine. You know, everything's great. I mean, the boat ride's great. Everything feels good, and we'll just put it up on the trailer and go through the data and see where we're at.
All right, go grab some water. Thanks a lot, Corey.
And across start finish line, 156.772 miles per hour for the 8 Miss Tri-Cities. And J. Michael Kelly from Bonnie Lake. Pretty good for that first lap.
That's very good. He's absolutely just carving up Tire Factory turn 2 right now, flying down the backstretch, looking really aggressive. I mean, not that you would expect anything other from JMK, but He looks awfully fast.
Yeah, watch those boats as they come around that apex and to the exit pin at Tire Factory turn number 2 to the Griggs backstretch, and that's where you start to see if they lose speed when they start to hit that backstretch. And it looked like he was carrying pretty good momentum, Kevin, in front of you.
Yeah, he was. I mean, it was rough. I mean, the turn 2 was a little bit rough and choppy at times, but he was either ready for it or it didn't bother the boat nearly so much as it can others. So he's looking really good.
Yeah, well, at this point, he would be the top qualifier. Let's see what this lap will give Corey Peabody. 157.411 miles per hour, so a little bit of improvement. Still hitting it hard down the front stretch into Bunch Finnegan, turn number 1.
Yeah, got up a little bit there, but boy, he is just perfectly on the water. And the skid fin just kicking the water up, keeping him in a tight turn left. And man, he does not look like he's losing a ton of speed down here. A little, perhaps, just the slightest little bit, but boy, he looks strong.
And no pun intended on that.
Right, yeah, okay, I see what I did there accidentally.
He ran a 160 this morning during the test session, but again, that's a different setup, so we'll see if he can improve and maybe see if he can't touch that 160 number. It's a big one.
Final lap for the qualifying session. And the first run for J. Michael Kelly in the Miss Tri-Cities onto the front stretch. And I don't know that it just doesn't seem that he had the same sense of urgency, Derek, on this run that he did on the last lap. That being said, it's a 158.450. So his best lap was when I thought he was relaxing.
Oh. What was it? Is it Darrell Waltrip that says sometimes you got to slow down to go fast?
Yeah, okay.
Sometimes it's about getting that perfect line and not getting yourself too out of shape out on the water, or in Darrell Waltrip's case on the track. So it could have been a situation where he just needed to back off slightly so he could handle those turns, much, much better.
So J. Michael Kelly in the 8 Miss Tri-Cities. Top qualifier so far, 158.450 miles per hour, and that's what can give you 100 points and help get you into the final.
And so that leaves us with 2.
Special thanks to our friends at ESCO Electric of the Tri-Cities, local electrical specialist serving the region since 1972. Your Generac whole home backup generator specialist. Call 509-547-5504 or let's go with esco.com. Also, the backstretch coverage brought to you by Griggs and Tri-City Ace Hardware Stores. 4 locations serve you with everything for your summer fun, and they have the right tool for every job with Craftsman, DeWalt, Milwaukee, Irwin, Black & Decker, all the supplies you need to get it done and get it done right at Griggs and Griggs Ace Hardware Stores. Next up on the course will be the 12. And I hear somebody back on in the pits. Who do we have?
You got Bradley here. You mentioned Andrew Tate. The nose is being pushed out away from the dock as I speak. The lid's down. So you are correct. Andrew will be on the race course very shortly. I am going to walk up the dock a little bit as the 9 Pinnacle Peak Consulting, Corey Peabody's ride, comes out of the water. Mike had that fast lap at what, $1.57?
158.450.
158.4, okay.
And just so that we kind of continue the conversation we had, the T6, the 12 Graham Trucking, J. Michael Kelly won in 2019 with that boat here in the last HAPO Columbia Cup.
It sounds like they're trying to fire up or I guess they're shutting it down, because I'm thinking the 12 is coming out on the water right now. It looks like there's a lot of revving of the engine. So I'm wondering if it's not quite firing yet.
Trying to get it lit, Kevin?
I'm hearing he's
lit.
Okay.
He's coming. I apologize for the background music here.
I'm just trying to figure out who's revving the engine.
Yeah, that's a piston boat.
Oh, that's
whatever Brad's standing next to.
That's Rob Hall's boat.
Oh, okay.
The GP.
There we go. Here comes the 12. He was taking a little bit of time. I mean, as opposed to the 8, which went wide out so it could go full out on the backstretch. 12 took a little bit more of a shortcut.
Tell you what, I'm going to turn the mic off until they get done with this, and I'll grab Mike in just a sec.
Wow, that is a loose boat ride heading up the backstretch a little bit for the Graham Trucking and Andrew Tate. We remember him a couple years ago in the Delta Reel Track, and Les Schwab died. And he'll take it around the top end of the course. We'll get him on a hot lap. Again, each competitor has 3 laps during this qualifying session, and we hope to go back through, but that is a pretty loose boat ride right now for the 12.
And he doesn't have the greatest memories of this course.
Guys, let me jump in here real quick. And you were talking about getting 2 runs. They did say at the drivers' meeting this morning that everybody will have an opportunity to run twice. I'm standing here on the dock with J. Michael Kelly, who just came back after a good ride in the 8. $1:58 and change. Let me start with the most important question up front. You're going to hear it all weekend. How are you doing, my friend?
Fine. It just, I mean, I can't believe how hot it was out in the cockpit. I mean, that was probably by far the hottest I've been inside of a boat. So the racing's going to be very interesting if it's going to be that hot. So I got to find a way to cool myself down or just man up, you know, kind of like I've been trying to do with my ribs. A lot going on, but it's good to be out on the water. Would have liked to have gone a little faster because I know that blue boat's going to go pretty fast, but we'll get another shot at it. But these guys, the Miss Tri-Cities 8 guys, they've been working hard, and we'll figure out some boat setup. You know, the biggest thing for me is just getting confident behind the wheel again after our mishap in Madison. You know, when you're going that fast and have something like that happen and you know, have some hardware come off your boat, it can make it a little bit nerve-wracking the next time you go out. So everything, you know, this morning boat went good. You know, it just comes down to me now of getting comfortable with the boat again and getting back to where I was in Madison or Alabama, and just see if we can finish strong this weekend.
Well, and you and I have had this conversation on the dock many, many times, Bumble, and it doesn't have anything to do. Qualifying's not where you're going to win this thing. I know you want that good setup and all the speed. Tomorrow afternoon around 4:30 be a good time.
Yeah, no, I mean, the final is always the most important. First thing you got to get there. You know, qualifying though, I mean, Madison kind of put us in the hole in points, and you know, that's something that's been a goal for me in my 18 years of racing unlimited, is to try to win a national championship. And you know, definitely after Madison, put myself in a hole, and so you know, every single point counts. It matters with qualifying, heat racing, so we just got to make the most of it, and hopefully we'll have a really good weekend and put on a great show for all these Tri-Cities fans, and of course the Miss Tri-Cities. You know, everybody that's cheering this boat on. You know, I want to do well for them, and of course Daryl and Vanessa and all my team. You know, they work hard, and I get to do the fun part, and that's go fast, and so hopefully we can do that this weekend.
Well, let me tell you, you can check the first box of putting on a good show. We're having a great time now that we're finally out running. Go get out of that black suit and get another bottle of water and then finish it off.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go jump in the cooler and get a refresher.
Mike, thanks very much.
Thank you.
J. Michael Kelly qualifying there at $1.58 and change, I think you said.
You got that right. And so far, a couple of 153s for the 12, Graham Trucking and Andrew Tate. And across start-finish line, 154.424 miles per hour. But, Kevin, I think you can attest to this. Maybe the loosest boat ride that we have seen so far.
Yeah, absolutely. He is he's having a heck of a time trying to corral that thing and keep it in line. So he was getting down here into that sloppy turn, too, and he was really having to back out of it on here. So we'll see what kind of changes they can make, because they've got, I'm sure, some things they need to do to that boat. The good news is they can work all day long in that shade under Bernie's tree, so they don't have nearly the same kind of concerns, at least about the heat, that J. Michael Kelly just expressed.
Yeah, Derek and I up here at start-finish, our eyes were just glued on that backstretch, on the Griggs Ace Hardware backstretch, because the air was getting trapped underneath the boat. It was kind of bouncing sponson to sponson, and then it would pop up out of the water a little bit, and it didn't look very stable.
And you know, Michael, the margin for error is so razor thin in this sport, but again, credit where credit is due for being able to handle that situation and still be pretty consistent with the time.
U1, Home Street Bank will be up next, and I would imagine they'll be pushing Jimmy Shane away from the dock here shortly, and that fast speed that we had that would have been a new restricted fuel lap has taken away, Brad, and I think you heard that too because of a fuel flow violation. So we will look to see what they do to try to kind of rein in that fuel situation. We understand that it's for the drivers, it's right in front of them. They can clearly see in their instrumentation when they're pushing the limit and go over.
Yeah, they do. And when they're running in a test session, they don't even run the boats through tech inspection. Now, a team can come in and ask to run their box through tech inspection. But you're not going to set a record when we're out testing. That's not going to happen. It's going to happen right now. Now, there's another big difference between running this morning. You hear him in the background here. Here it comes.
Well, the ambient air temperature is different.
That's exactly where I was going to go, Michael. Very good.
Qualifying in the morning does have its benefits. So out away from the dock. And just a reminder for anybody that's enjoying the Columbia River, you need to be up on the shoreline. Swimmers out of the water. Anybody on any type of personal flotation device need to get up out of the water.
Yeah, Jimmy's away from the dock. Now he goes, was heading upriver. Now he makes a hard right-hand turn headed toward the north side of the Blue Bridge. He's running away from you, Kevin.
Well, he's working that same line that J. Michael Kelly did, and it worked for Mike, so you might as well try it, right? Get out there, see if you can get your full head of steam going down the back stretch. Get all that momentum heading into it, and he just did. He did. He's flying inside right there by lane 1 or so.
And just to go back and finish on the N2 violation and all that, sometimes the teams don't really care. They'll turn up the wick on the N2. Sometimes they'll even crank up the fuel flow just a touch. And what they're trying to do, they know they won't be legal, but the idea is to see if the boat gets up to that kind of speed, what kind of a boat ride will they have and how will it handle? But now it counts, and there are 100 points laying here in the middle of the river for the top qualifier here. We're going to get a hint here of what Jimmy's got up his sleeve and what he's got for the rest of the race teams coming down, and put him on a clock, Michael McDonald.
You know, I just say around turn 3 and 4, we haven't seen anybody that looked as solid or as fast at the top end of the course than Jimmy Shane in the home street bank. And,
hey, Michael.
And he wasn't even on the clock. Go ahead.
I'm going to interrupt you here. I've got Andrew Tate, driver of the U12. How do you feel to get back out on the water?
It's nice. It was a long day yesterday. Getting a chance to get out there and go fast, do some laps out there by yourself is nice as well. It's fun. Looking forward to later today and tomorrow.
How's the boat handling? Because some of our guys were saying it looked like you were kind of all over the map a little bit.
Well, I'll leave them to color commentate, but it felt all right. We'll talk to Tom's, kind of look at the data and see what's what. Didn't feel terrible. 154, I think. Not the worst, not the best. We can make improvements. We'll talk to Mr. Tom, crew chief. He's a smart guy. See where to go from there.
You know, something some of the drivers were talking about is how warm it's getting out here. Are you starting to feel the pressure of the heat? I mean, granted, it's not 115 that we saw a couple weeks ago, but still, when you're pushing the triple digits, it's got to get hot.
I think it's worse for the crew guys than us, to be honest with you. They're up on the deck all day, battling the heat, battling the sun. A little bit of sweat in your eyes maybe when you're out there, but we got Bernie's Tree down here. The U12 Graham trucking guys are really enjoying that. So we're all playing golf on the same course here. It's everyone's dealing with it. It's going to be a battle of attrition, I think, all weekend. 4 heats is a lot, especially when you got qualifying and testing all pushed into Saturday as well. So we'll take it 1 heat at a time from here on out and try and get our points and get to the final on Sunday.
All right, Andrew, they're pulling your boat out of the water, so I'll get out of your way. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Cross start finish line 163.250 in lap number 1. Lap number 2 for Jimmy Shane in the 1 home street bank 165.874 miles per hour.
That would be first.
Yes, it would. There's just a different look and a different attitude to this boat out on the water. And if you're looking for a boat to beat, I think you can see it right now.
I think it is colored home street blue, that is for sure.
I wonder if they put some blue origin power in that.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about making a joke like that. He's almost going as fast as his boss did on Wednesday.
Up to the top end of the course into turn number 4 at the exit pin. Well executed turn for Jimmy Shane at the exit pin onto the front stretch. And we get him across the JMC Motorsports start finish line, and a 166.886 miles per hour for Jimmy Shane.
Holy smoke.
Yep. That's faster than the one that he did with the violation this morning, so I guess we're going to be checking the votes.
Yeah, you hear some clapping, and the people all have that kind of shade of powder blue shirt on.
Well, that's incredible.
Holy smoke.
And that's why when I see that boat, I think about, as I was corrected, 2018, when he came out, and that was just a boat they were testing, and just a boat they weren't sure about, but it was so darn fast.
Wow.
And Brad, didn't they run it the next week at State Fair in 2018?
They did.
Yeah.
They did, but the boat did not win a race until the first race of the season 2019 in Guntersville.
Interesting.
Yeah. And the boat, Jimmy's down now. He's lost power.
Well,
Maybe a while. He's going to go down. You know, Jimmy's kind of a showman. You go down, pay some of those pleasure car. Maybe he'll stand up and wave to the people. Don't look down off of 395.
Well, barring tech inspection, that means Jimmy, your top qualifier, followed by Jay and Michael Kelly. So Jimmy has the 100 points.
well, yeah, but I mean, you would have to feel that at least one of his laps would stand up, Kevin, and they're all over 160. So
Wow.
that's pretty incredible. That was a really solid performance.
And this is a boat that hasn't been wet for 22 months. So not bad.
Yeah, 163.250, 165.874, and a 166.886.
Wow.
So 100 points, and we still have another round to go. I guess the question is, do you go out again? Maybe just for setup, or maybe even for timing marks, Brad?
Oh, I think you definitely go out.
Yeah.
I think you definitely go out and run. Anytime you have an opportunity to do that, I think you do. And it's one thing to go out and be the top qualifier. It is another thing to go out and be the top qualifier by 8 miles an hour over everybody and be 4 miles an hour over or 5 miles an hour over an existing course record. That is impressive, and that is sending one heck of a message up and down pit row. Again, the whole thing is got an asterisk by it now. It's got to be pending tech inspection. We'll see how that goes.
Special thanks to our friends, Local 598 Plumbers and Steam Fitters, signatory contractors. Change your future. They're now taking applications for a career in plumbing, pipe fitting, or HVAC industries. Your new future, Local 598, Pasco, Washington. Also, thanks to International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 112, community-minded. They have a special viewing area along with Local 598 for the Gold Star families here at the HAPO Columbia Cup. Reminder, after our coverage, Riverside will be back at the KONA Legend Studios with the wrap-up show. Thanks to Jason Hogue, our good friend at American Family Insurance in Pasco. American Family Insurance achieved the highest customer satisfaction score among mid-size insurers in the 2021 J.D. Power Insurance Shopping Satisfaction Study. Why settle for number 2? Contact Jason Hogue with AmFam today at jasonhogue.com. No problems over the Blue Bridge after we get through with our qualifying. We had an incident earlier, or actually in our coverage yesterday, with 4 vehicles involved. Please, as you head over the Blue Bridge, you've got to just keep from looking over. If you have a passenger, have them give you an update, or just listen to us here on KONA, but watch where you're going. Traffic watch on News Radio 610 KONA during the races, thanks to Bob's Burgers and Brew. After the races, head to Bob's. They have 2 locations, Richland and Kennewick, serving only the best with burgers, appetizers, and beverages. Go to bobsburgersandbrew.com. Take a time out. More of our coverage coming up. HAPO Columbia Cup next from 610 KONA and 610KONA.com. Jimmy Shane in the home street bank, 166.886 miles per hour.
The U11 is coming back out.
Yeah, guys,
So
let me
J&D's back
jump
out
in
on the
here.
course. Yeah, you go right ahead, Brad.
Well, you mentioned that Shane character and that speed of 166. I got him standing right here. Before we do that, welcome to the Tri-Cities.
Thank you. It's great to be back here. Hydrotown. Love coming here. Yes, last year was obviously a bummer for the entire season in H1 and all the fans, and we're just happy to be back, and it's beautiful weather, and you can't ask for any more than that.
And we're glad to have you back. You didn't come over for the test session. We missed you then, but you're back, and apparently all is well. Turning a lap north of 166. I think I said it on the radio about 3 times. All I could say for a comment was, wow.
Yeah, that was impressive. It kind of impressed myself the way the boat was riding. It wasn't as Jeff got on the radio and said, "Hey, the water conditions are perfect." I got out there and I was like, "What are you looking at, Jeff?" Like, it was rollers and lumps all over the place, and the Miss Home Street boat just flew over top of all of that stuff, and I let it hang out and we let it fly, and we ran a pretty good lap there.
You ran 3 pretty good laps there. You're saying you're flying over the rollers. The boat ride, from what I can see of the race course down here and what the guys were saying, the boat ride looked good.
Yeah, the boat is amazing. It really carries itself very well, and that's why we were able to just, I think the other boats were having issues, the sponsons digging into the rollers and stuff. In this boat, it just kind of hovers and just flies above that stuff, and it's a joy to fly that thing, and it's an honor to drive it around that race course really fast.
So what do you guys do now?
We need to make sure that all the data is legal from that run, obviously. Everything that I saw in the cockpit looked good to me, so we should be good to go. And if it is all legal, that's I think we set a record there for the restricted fuel lap speed by a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think you said it. I think you shattered it. That's the kind of words we use.
Yeah, the boat's impressive. The team is amazing, obviously. It's amazing to drive for such a seasoned team, and I don't mean in age, I mean in experience. They have probably the most experience in the pits on this one team around the Miss Madison racing team, and it's showing. It's showing in the boat speed. It's showing in the team camaraderie, and it's showing that we're here and we have a goal of winning the Tri-Cities race this weekend, and I think we tried to make a statement this morning.
You made a very strong statement. When you were coming back to the pit area, the boat died over here by the bridge. Were you just saying hi to fans over there, signing a few autographs, or what?
I think Mike wanted to run a really, really quick lap, and I think he only put enough fuel in the boat for me to run the 3 laps and not come back to the pits. So we almost made it back. I think we literally ran out of fuel, and everything looks A-okay though on the boat.
Well, it is good to see you back in the Tri-Cities. Good to have that blue and white boat on the circuit, and just glad to have you here. Congratulations to you and the whole team, because it really is a team deal.
It really is, and I'm part of the greatest team in the history of the sport, and all I can say is I'm honored to race for them, and hopefully we get to continue to represent this team and this sponsor for years and years to come.
Thanks for the show. We'll look for more.
Thank you.
All right, Jimmy Shane right there. Pretty good sized smile on the face. As you might imagine, turning a lap at 166 miles an hour. Wow, I'm talking to people down here. I've said wow 10 times now. I guess that point has come across. But, we've been talking about that speed. It was a few years ago. We were trying to get to that 163.5, I think it was, and he got the 163.3, and boy, he didn't mess around this time. Just shattered it.
Yeah, and the interesting part of that was he felt that all of the indicators he had in the cockpit were everything would be legal.
That's the key, and as you were talking earlier, he has visual indication when he starts to exceed some of those parameters, so he can pull his foot out of it a little bit. But, man, he's talking about rough water, talking about rollers, the boat flying.
Brad,
yes?
This just in. Thank you, Tana. Did not pass tech.
Oh, baby.
On the 166.886, did not pass tech.
Okay.
So there was some sort of a violation, not sure what it was. J&D's, Jamie Nielsen back out, 3rd lap. An improvement, 156.559 miles per hour.
I'm sorry, what was it?
156.559.
Oh, boy.
2 1,000ths of a second faster than the Beacon Plumbing.
Now, here's the question. On the one, will the 165.874 stand or the 163.250 stand?
To my knowledge, no.
Okay.
This is why you will see a couple of hot laps sometime. He goes out and runs a 166 on the second lap. Sometimes you'll see him run that third one at $1.55 just to make sure they don't lose it.
That's very interesting. I wonder what he didn't see that he should have seen.
Yeah, if you see the runner up there, if you see Tana, ask her if it was fuel flow or N2. That would be interesting to know.
And she just gave me the preliminary indication that it didn't pass tech. We didn't find out exactly what it was.
Okay.
But we'll get the details shortly, I'm sure.
And what about Jamie? Jamie ran a 156, and what did he do the first time?
First time Jamie was out at 155.418, so within 2 miles an hour.
So a step in the right direction.
Yeah, no question.
All right, good.
No question. And just a reminder for those along the Columbia River, yeah, it's warming up out there, but as hydroplanes hit the course, you need to be back up on the shore. And that's what the patrol boats are here for, to make sure everybody stays safe. So do them a favor as the hydroplanes or the air show is underway. Make sure you get back up out of the river completely during HAPO Columbia Cup action.
You know, hey, Michael, I know we're waiting for Jamie Nielsen to get back to the dock and hear how he ran out there, but you heard that in the background. We are getting ready for the E350s to get out. We've got 6 boats right now in the water.
And Glenn, we're going to have a little conversation here, you and me, on the air, because I know you're up there with the E350s. Have you got a watch, or you set up there? Because I'll stay down here. We've got 2 unlimited still in the water here.
Okay.
Have you got my watch?
I don't, but I can get up there.
Okay.
Yeah, this qualifying session is scheduled to end in about 90 seconds.
All right.
That being said, it looks like we'll probably be going a little bit longer. What do you think, Brad?
Well, I'm just going on what was said at the driver's meeting this morning. Is I've got yet another boat coming over my head. The U40 is coming off, so I've got to move here, but I'll get Jamie here in a second. Let me just get out of the way.
Yeah.
But what I've said it, I think, a couple times, just to reiterate, though, they said at the driver's meeting, they said, don't worry, you want to run twice, you're going to get an opportunity to run twice. Everybody will. And here come your E350s away from the dock right now. While they come away from the dock and it gets quiet here for just a sec, I'll grab Jamie Nielsen. I'll do my best so you don't have to compete with that and have to yell in this thing. Hello, young man. Welcome to the Tri-Cities.
Hey, good to see you. Good to talk to you finally, Brad.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to be back, and somehow it's nice to be back on the water today after yesterday.
Oh, you said it. It's water couldn't be better out there today, and to get to run this J&D's U11 for everything it's worth in front of the fans, it's been 2 long years, and sure feels good.
And this thing's getting better by my way of thinking. It's getting better every time on the water.
Yeah, you know, that's the motto. That's our motto here, is just each time out, you know, we're going to get better. Just baby steps, and as long as we keep moving forward, eventually things are going to work out for us. So, yes, much better over where we started today, and sky's the limit.
And we talk about how it's drivers that are in new boats and with new teams. They've got to get to know their team and so forth. You know this team. You know everybody here. There's nothing new there, but this is a new boat for you, and it takes time. J. Michael Kelly's talking about having to get used to his ride. You coming along with this guy?
Yeah, the boat's just one small minor piece of this whole equation. So it's been a big learning curve, not only for me, but for the crew chief, Scott Rainey, and the whole team, because you know, we're basically starting from scratch as far as how to set this thing up and get it to run good, get it to run stable, fast, you know, everything you need in a good race boat. So, you know, from where we started to where we are now, we've come a long way, and I'm really excited to see where we end up at the end of this weekend.
I got a hunch that's a pretty hot driver suit you got on.
Yeah, it's not the coolest.
Go get a cooler, something on, get another bottle of water. Congratulations, you're moving in the right direction.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Jamie Nielsen, driver of the U11, the J&Ds for Scott and Shannon Rainey. I keep talking about this boat is my dark horse this weekend. It gets better every time it hits the water. I like the way this boat looks on the water. I am all the way down to Bernie's Tree, guys. I'm going to turn it up to you guys. We got E350s racing.
Yep, the second heat of the E350s. Chris Bertram comes across start finish in the E57 Cheetah. And it's yellow with red trim. Mike Jarvis in the E6 Reigning Thunder. Cross start finish. John Rifle, fully loaded racing. It's a white boat with black trim. Cutting across the infield, that is going to be Kurt Myers. Yep, and he was the winner of heat number 1 of the E350s. And then down the front stretch is Derek Smith in the E79, the orange boat with the checkered flag motif up on that front sponson as the boats start to all collect in turn number 1. It's a 2-corner course as we go over to Kevin Rounds.
Somebody's way backed off of that right now. I think they're super early for their timing marks. There are some like 78, and I think is that Steve Huff or that the one? But there was somebody down here that backed way off, and that might have been the Cheetah boat. It went way wide, backed way off, and now it's up and going again.
Interesting.
Guys, real quick down here in the pit area, where are we on the clock?
I don't have a clock, so I can't answer that.
Because Steve Huff is here back at the dock. He's got crew members aboard. They're working quickly here. I'll keep an eye on him. Go ahead and call. I'll let you know if he comes.
Well, look on that backstretch, Kevin. Derek Smith parking in lane number 1. You don't think he's going to try to claim it now, do you? Well, look, Myers is on his hip.
Yeah, they are trying to claim lanes already. But again, not knowing the clock, because they jumped off. When they jumped off the dock, that's the 5-minute mark.
Here goes two.
All right.
Sir. I don't have to tell you, Steve Huff is away.
But we heard you.
In a hurry. In a hurry. Or he could say he's in a huff. No, he is. I'll be see if he can catch up. He's going to go full throttle up the backstretch here. See if he can get up to that crowd, but he's also going to be on the outside, at least to start.
Wow. So lane number 1 will be Derek Smith in the 79. Lane number 2 looks like it's Myers, at least for now. Rifle in 3. Myers is going to be in 3. Wow, it's a crowded start. And it is Myers in 3 as they come across the start-finish line, and the flag is out. So Myers across the start-finish line. The 98, by the way, has been disqualified. Myers is going to lead the boats down into turn number 1. Rifle is in the tunnel, and on the inside is Derek Smith in the 79.
Yes, Derek Smith this time. Nobody in front of him and can get around right in front of Myers. But they are going to be deck to deck as Myers drops down into lane 2, heading up the backstretch.
Rifle has fallen back and is in 3rd place. It's a deck-to-deck race on the backstretch, the Griggs backstretch. Derek Smith in the orange 79 on the inside. On the outside, the bright yellow boat, that's Kurt Myers, and they are deck-to-deck as they head into turn number 2. Myers with huge boat speed and great momentum coming up that backstretch into turn number 2 as they come around the top end of the course. Looks like everybody jumped except for John Rifle. Oh, my goodness. If Rifle finishes, he'll get the win.
He's in the catbird seat now, sitting there on the course 3rd place, but that's 1st place points right there if he can make this happen.
So into turn number 1, the leader on the course is going to be on the inside, Derek Smith in the 79. On the outside, Myers in the bright yellow E1.
Myers he's having a little bit harder time now being on that outside, but he is not giving up. And you know he's got the back boat speed down the backstretch. Keep right there with Smith.
Bertram coming up the backstretch at the exit pin of turn number 1 now. Rifle is going to come across the start-finish line. He is your race leader. The 226 fully loaded racing.
You just lost Huff.
Yeah, Huff just went dead in the water down here.
Oh, that's a shame.
And he is right there in lane 2, lane 3. He's trying to get out of the way.
Watch the leaders on the course as they come onto the front stretch. White flag is out. Myers on the outside, Smith on the inside, and they've got a boat dead in the water. It is floating to the outside, but they are backing off the throttle.
The other thing is if they can get a pass Rifle, that puts them in. Oh, Myers bouncing a lot as he comes through turn number 1. Has to back way off, and now he's about a rooster tail behind Derek Smith as they are now on the same stretch. They're on the backstretch with John Rifle trying to get in front of him and see if they can take this win away.
Amazing race. Rifle on the backstretch at the midway point. Jarvis is at the top end of the course, and he'll come to the exit pin in the 6. Raining thunder onto the front stretch. Here come the race leaders on the course into turn number 2. And it's going to be on the inside, Smith with the lead. Myers in second. Rifle has fallen back and was passed. again, everybody jumped but Rifle.
Now the question is that a minute penalty or is that a disqualification?
Rifle still has 1 lap remaining to be... Yeah, we'll head back to qualifying. I was going to say Olympic qualifying. The Olympics are underway. It's similar in some respects.
Yes.
There will be a trophy presentation. But what a strange start to that race, Kevin.
They were, it looked like they were all lined up, but because we didn't have a clock on it, and now back onto the course, and is he running a lap again, is the 78, Derek Smith. He just jumped back into the backstretch.
Heading back again for a penalty lap. So if Brad is with us, maybe we could get the clarification on the jumping of the gun. I know that's what you're trying to do.
I'm trying to find out.
Yep.
But I've got the word from you that everybody jumped except John Rifle, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Now, that being said, I don't even think that Steve Huff was in the neighborhood, so he may be able to get some points out of that run. He wasn't even up there to be able to jump. He was so far behind.
Yeah, well, he's a DNF.
Okay.
So, yeah, he won't finish.
Oh, well, you're right about that. He lost power.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Well, I got boats coming back to the dock here. I am up on the corral level trying to get an official word here.
You know what's interesting is, and it's unfortunate that it wasn't a clean start because that was a heck of a boat race between two really good racers and 2 really good boats.
Absolutely.
The 79 with Derek Smith, the orange boat, and the bright yellow 1 with Kurt Myers. And we've got a lot more E350 racing yet to come.
Yeah, here comes Myers is already back, but I'm up on the tower. The Reigning Thunder, the E8, is back. By the way, they skipped that first heat because they had a hole in the sponson, which they went ahead and fixed. I'm just waiting to get official word up here.
And you say hole in the sponson. Was there some issue with hitting debris? Do you know what happened?
No, they didn't hit anything.
Okay.
It's just something they found, a small crack.
I got you. We will head back to H1 Unlimited qualifying as soon as the E350s have cleared the course, and we've got a little bit of work to do as a tow rope will have to be thrown out there, and we'll get all the fleet of the E350s back over to the Neil F. Lamson pits. And I would imagine that's a pretty busy spot right now. Kevin on a Pasco shoreline and the Freedom Equipment Rentals lift, and pretty good view of the other side of the race course.
Yeah, I can see the 12 is in the water, the 40's in the water. So there are some boats that are going to go back out there. I do not see the 1 back in the water. It is up on the trailer, so either one of those laps counted and they're good, or they're just, or they're not going to go back out, or maybe they're working on a couple things to make sure they're back within the tech limits, because that's, and whatever the tech violation was, we had a red mini record-setting laps there, and none of them are technically being, or at least a couple that we are aware of are not being counted.
I'd like to welcome to the Brutzman's official barge here, the Memorial Barge, Keith Silliman from Farmers Exchange, proud to be our title sponsor again for 2021 Water Follies. Thanks, Keith. Appreciate it.
Michael, thanks for having me. It's been a wonderful afternoon so far. Hopefully tomorrow's going to be as special as today has been. It's a pleasure to have some volunteerism and some money towards the community to be able to bring Water Follies back after the COVID. It's been a struggle.
And the community coming together with the water ops and the problems we had with the, the Sago pond weed out there yesterday. They kept boats off the river.
AKA milfoil. Right.
Well, it's a different type. It's a whole different animal, Keith.
Well, I get it, but I'll tell you, it's the same outcome. We're going to have a fun weekend.
No question. So at Farmers Exchange, we talk about all of the pit crews down there that keep equipment running. You have the same type of crew at Farmers Exchange
for lawnmowers,
power equipment.
Yeah, you bet. Lawnmowers, riding tractors, zero turns, weed eaters, rototillers. We fix it all, and we do it in a hurry.
And it has been a little bit difficult, although you've done a good job in ordering to make sure that you have new equipment available, but even maybe more important now to have parts and service to keep your equipment running.
Supply chain issues globally, and some people don't understand when they walk in and they look at our store after 98 years and they see it empty and they don't understand why. Well, I'll tell you, things are broken, and hopefully they're going to get better, and we're doing everything we can to make sure that you have what you need. And I don't think we've lost a sale yet, but I'll tell you, we need to make sure that the supply chains are continuing to get better, and we're forecasting out far enough to make sure we have product for the people.
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing effort that you've done down there. And what surprises me, I guess, is what you do have in stock.
Again, Michael, we have been there 100 years. We got a lot of nooks and crannies.
That is true.
We can have a lot of stuff that you don't know of. We bring it out of the woodshed.
That's very true. Well, Keith, thanks so much for being a part of Water Follies with us again this year.
Michael, I appreciate that. I'd like to give a shout out to the people up on Canal Drive. I give a shout out to my mother.
Yes, family, of course.
Family. We got to make sure to talk about the family. We talk about the Water Follies family. We talk about the Farmers Exchange family. Give a shout out to my mother, Arlene Silliman. We lost our father this year, which was he was the patriarch of the family, and obviously that's important.
And Ken, such a good member of the Downtown Kennewick Association and so many different groups that made Downtown Kennewick what it is today.
Well, and supported Water Follies for years, yes. And then I'd like to give a shout out to my son, who is up there on Canal Drive with all his friends right now, and they're having a great time, and Zach's cooking some chicken wings and having some fun. It's delicious.
Do they deliver?
Ready. Yeah, they will deliver for you. Yes.
Great.
It's going to be great.
Well, Keith, thanks again.
Michael,
good to have you on board. And we do have an official final order of finish. So Derek Smith in the E79 will take first place. Second place will go to Kurt Myers. Third place will go to John Rifle. So to answer your question, Kevin Rounce, they did end up passing the E226 John Rifle in the fully loaded to reclaim first and second place.
Mike, can I jump in real quick?
You got it, Brad.
I'm sorry to interrupt you when you guys are having that discussion. Did you get that official?
It was handed to me by Tana.
Okay, because
so
I
that's
was
as
just
official
told,
I'm going to get.
No, that's as official as you're going to get, because I was just told upstairs there was a lot of conversation going on, and we said let's not keep it here because we got unlimiteds coming out. They were going to have Tana come down and give you the official order. That's it. Who was your winner?
Go ahead.
Derek Smith. It was Derek Smith. Kurt Myers was second, yeah.
All right. Glenn Bogan, are you down on that? Is he around? They may be all gone.
Yeah, I'm trying to find Derek.
Okay. All right, thanks, guys. I'll step away. We're going to put H1 Unlimiteds on the water.
So back to qualifying. We will take a timeout first. News Radio 610 KONA and 610KONA.com. Again, thanks to our friends at Farmers Exchange. 98 years, historic downtown Kennewick, and online now at mowerhome.com. More of our coverage of the HAPO Columbia Cup coming up next.
There you go. As soon as you make that corner, yeah. Alex, can you untie his lag? Go ahead and stand up.
Service, major repair, and
Apollo and Carrier keeping you cool this summer. Call Apollo today at 987-1500 or online at Apollo Heating and Air. Tri-City Water Follies has the support of many community businesses. The success of this weekend, many pieces of equipment it takes to make this weekend a success, made possible by businesses such as proud sponsor of the 2018 Tri-City Water Follies. They're local foodies that enjoy providing awesome hospitality. Castle Event Catering is celebrating its 24th year. Thank you, Tri-Cities. Enjoy the races and stay hydrated.
Ryan Johnson, did you get the results? I guess not.
It's their tagline. Arizona Mobile Fleet Service is proud to sponsor the 2021 Unlimited Hydroplane Races. Supermax South Pueblo Market has everything you need for your carne asada. We sell authentic Mexican food, including salsa, rice and beans by the pound. Supermax carries fresh produce, freshly made pizza,
Kennewick, Richland, Pasco.
Now we return you to the hydro action and the HAPO Columbia Cup with Michael McDonald and the KONA broadcast team. Brought to you by Farmers Exchange.
Along with Rob Francis, Frank Cooper, Derek Maselli, Malachi Cooper were all at the start-finish line. Dave Billwalk is back out on the course with H1 qualifying. Lap number 1, 156.685 miles per hour. Lap number 2, 156.092 miles per hour, heading up the Griggs backstretch and diving in to Shell Sun Market, turn number 3 to the apex, and we'll be coming off the exit pin onto the front stretch.
That 156.685 would put him back in front of Jamie Nielsen, who had jumped in front of him in qualifying with that second run that he did earlier.
And stability would be the key that I see in this run. 158.191, a new fast hot lap for Dave Billwalk in the 40 Beacon Plumbing.
That puts him right up next to J. Mike, just a little behind the 12, behind the 8. Also see the 12 in the water over there, and I'm trying to, did I see the 1 get dropped in? Not yet. The 8 is hovering above the water, though.
Well, and it's kind of a unique situation. The 1 definitely is going to have to get back in and get something put up on the board. So Dave Billwalk, second time out, 158.191 miles per hour. And I don't know if we have anybody back down to the pits and who may be coming out next.
12, I think, would be, 12 is looking the most ready to come back out. 12, or is it maybe the 440? I can't tell if that's one of the small boats or if that's the 440.
Kevin, I think what you're looking at is the GP79.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Okay.
Yeah, we've got the U9 with Corey Peabody. He's still not quite in all the way, kind of in the same situation that Andrew Tate's in.
So I think we're going to see boats come back out here. That's for sure, Michael. But I don't And I don't know what the order is going to be. I would imagine it goes back through the same order. You get your opportunity, and if you're ready, you go. If you're not going out, you just kind of tip your cap and say thank you. And
pass it to the next.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's kind of interesting as we will continue to watch to see what happens with the home street, as they probably are working on some of those situations in the cockpit that didn't really alert the driver that there was a fuel flow issue.
If you're the one, that would be the more concerning thing,
No
right?
doubt.
Yeah,
No doubt.
It's not that you committed the violations, it's that you thought you didn't because nothing indicated that you did.
Now our schedule had included the GP America Heat 1 at 2:25 this afternoon. That is going to be sliding back as we will continue H1 qualifying. Special thanks to our friends over at Tire Factory with Michelin, BF Goodrich, Bridgestone. They've got all the best tires and great service too. They now have a couple of locations in Pasco. They're on Dupertale and Richland, Wheeler in Moses Lake, and TireFactoryTC.com. Firehouse Subs, they have the new grilled chicken Euro sub, founded by firemen. A portion of all proceeds go back to first responders. You'll find Firehouse Subs in Burbank, Pasco, Kennewick, and Richland.
The 9 is back out on the course.
So the 9 will be our next boat out on the river.
And again, if you look at it, there's 2 silver boats with very similar block lettering on the side. The one that has the black fairings is the Pinnacle Peak Consulting, the U9. The one with the orangish-reddish look is the Miss Tri-Cities.
Yeah, and it is. It's a burnt orange, and you can really see it when the sun is on it directly. When it's not on it, it kind of changes its shade a little bit. It's got a little metallic nature to it.
The 9, the first time out, its top clap was 153.599. So far, the 2 boats that have come out for a second run have run faster laps the second time out than they did their first time.
So for strong racing, Corey Peabody, cross-start finish line to the Pinnacle Peak Consulting U9. Heading down front stretch, Bunch Finnegan, Bosch Appliance, turn number 1. Heading to Kevin, Tire Factory, turn number 2.
Yes.
Good-looking run.
It is bouncing very kindly over the water, getting right through, right in that first lane through the turn. A little bit, again had to slow down a little bit there, but he's back out at getting down the Griggs backstretch.
Yeah, you can see they slough off a little bit of speed heading to the Griggs backstretch. Walking back and forth on the spots is heading up the backstretch. Corey Peabody, strong racing, 9 out of Auburn, Washington. Corey's from Kent, just down the road. Into Sun Market, turn number 3. Buffalo Brothers, turn number 4, and on to the front stretch. Corey Peabody, first of 3 hot laps in his second qualifying session.
He had a 158 to win qualifying in Guntersville.
153.762, so still in that same neighborhood as earlier today.
Just the slightest of improvements. But again, that's a little bit slower, and it really was interesting to see the difference between the 9 in qualifying and then that first heat in Guntersville, and then when he hooked to the boat, went right through the wash. I think it was Andrew Tate in Guntersville, and the boat doesn't seem the same since.
Just getting word of a schedule change. We'll be able to go over that in just a minute. Up the backstretch for Corey Peabody in the 9. And he'll dive into the Shell Sun Market turn number 3. There's that big wall of water off the skid fin. Keeps the boat turning around the corner and hops out a little bit wide at the exit pin of turn number 4 onto the front stretch, and probably lost a little bit of speed as a result. And across the JMC Motorsports start-finish line, 153.969. So just a tick faster, but not a marked improvement from lap number 1, nor the first time out. But consistency is definitely something that you strive for, and they have been showing consistency through every run.
Well, he's trying a different line now. Now he's out there about lane 2. At least through the turn, he was out there probably closer to lane 1.5, lane 2. Maybe he's trying to search and see if the line is the issue, and maybe hugging that buoy not quite as fast as he would like it to be.
Yeah, sometimes you can hold momentum and boat speed if you're a little bit farther outside and avoid some of that situation there, and as we, lumpy water that we've seen down there in turn 2. Up to the top end of the course, and final lap for Corey on the clock. Boy, look at all the boats upstream. Hope you're enjoying the 2021 HAPO Columbia Cup from the river. Okay, across start finish line, and there you go, 155.965. And Kevin, you talked about him searching and trying to find a little bit, maybe more room to the outside and a little bit more momentum. Found it.
He did, and he looked better. I mean, he looked like he came off Tire Factory Turn 2 in better shape than he had prior. So I don't know what that means for him. I can't imagine you'd want to start in lane 2, but maybe his boat's faster there.
Yeah, and you know, when you get more boats out there and the water conditions change, that inside line becomes even more valuable, I think.
And looking across the way, some GP boats are in the water. I still see the 8 and the 12 in. I still see the Home Street Blue.
Okay,
up
let's
on the trailer.
I just was given a schedule revision. Let's see what we have. The GPs will be going, Grand Prix Americas will be going at 2:30. 5-liter racing at 2:45. Then at 2:50 we'll have the Unlimited Heat 1A. At 3:10 Unlimited Heat 1B. Back to the Grand Prix Americas at 3:30. And then at 4:10 we'll have Unlimited Heat 2A, and at 4:30 we'll have Unlimited Heat 2B. So there's your schedule change.
And again, if you're unfamiliar with this, you can't run these Unlimiteds back to back to back. They need a rest or break in between. That's in the rule books.
Well, and remember what we saw with Jimmy Shane after his qualifying laps. Actually, they ran him out of fuel. No, the fuel tanks are not that big, and they would obviously have to get more fuel. News Radio 610 KONA, our coverage of the HAPO Columbia Cup, thanks in part to Anderson and Zentz Dental in South Kennewick, providing our weather forecast update. 96 the expected high this afternoon, and up to 102 for tomorrow in the Tri-Cities.
And the Miss Tri-Cities out on the course again. J. Michael Kelly going out almost parallel to the Blue Bridge, getting all the momentum going down the backstretch at 100% speed. All the way down the Griggs backstretch.
Right now, let's see, what was that latest temperature? 91 degrees at the Pasco Tri-Cities Airport. Our weather forecast from Anderson and Zentz Dental in South Kennewick. Maintaining, creating, saving smiles. 585-2500, KennewickSmiles.com. Giving you options. That's what it's all about for your best smile. So around the top end of the course.
And again, if all the one speeds are out, then here is our pole sitter, as it were.
Cross start finish line. And now you can really, with the angle of the sun now, it's a little bit different. You can really see that burnt orange on the back part of the boat and up to the fairing, all the way to the wing. That's really pretty. Dives into Bunch Finnegan Bosch Appliance turn number 1, over to Tire Factory turn number 2, Kevin Rounce.
Yeah, he's right again on the buoy line, and something that we saw Corey Peabody move away from. So,
hey, Kevin.
Yeah.
I'm going to interject here. Corey Peabody, second run out there. How did it feel?
Oh, good. Made a change. I don't know how it was speed-wise, but the boat felt great, and we'll build from here.
Color guys were noticing that you were running a little wider, getting more into lane 2. Were you looking to rectify something, or were you just trying something different?
Just trying something different, seeing if we could get some more speed out of it. But, I mean, we'll see when the numbers come in. I know they have them, but I don't know what they are yet. So
you can tell them it worked.
Oh, well, it sounds like it worked, like you had a pretty good speed. Michael, you got a number on that?
I got 155.965. That
159
last lap was the
plus on
fastest.
your last lap. So that sounds like you did something pretty well.
Okay, it's working. All right, very good.
All right. Hey, I know it's really hot, so I'm going to let you go here, but we'll see you later this afternoon, okay?
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Corey.
You get a speed on Mike?
157.370. J. Michael Kelly.
And is Vilwalk's 158 at the top?
No, Michael's is at the top still. Vilwalk was 158.191. J-Mike had 158.45.
FYI, gentlemen, here comes the U1.
Oh, yeah, he's got to get back out there, and he's probably just waiting his turn.
Well, because if they don't get back out, he gets what's called a TNR, which is a time not recorded. And so he's got to go out and run.
Off the exit pin, turn number 4. J. Michael Kelly coming down the front stretch. JMC Motorsports start-finish line 158.492. We're starting to get a whole bunch of boats in that neighborhood.
And that is your top qualifying speed so far.
Yep. Down at Tire Factory turn number 2.
He's been a little wider. A little more speed.
Well,
this
you saw
time,
Corey do that, his teammate.
Yeah, I think he might be trying something there. Let's see if it works for him like it worked for Corey. He was definitely out about a lane on that one.
Up the Griggs back stretch.
Could you imagine seeing somebody try to trying to claim lane 2 in the final heat? Wouldn't that be odd?
I wouldn't want to be in the tunnel. The real key, and Brad, you can comment on this, the real key would be getting to the end of the front stretch on that first, at the start, and be in the lead so that you're not stuck in the hallway.
Yeah, it's one thing to be on an inside lane, but you better not be late. If you're late, you're in trouble. And, Vilwalk, like he did in Madison, he loves to put somebody inside of him and then beat him to the corner. He's done it many times. We've seen it at many races. It didn't quite work for him at the Gold Cup in Madison, but there is another piece to the start puzzle if you're going to be on an inside lane, and that is don't be late. And then you talk about lane 2. It's only worse if the guy in 1 and 3 beat you down there. To your point, you're driving in a hallway, and it's virtually impossible.
1:58.061, the third hot lap for J. Michael Kelly in the 9. So we got to check that, the 8.
And I'll tell you something else. Mike made the comment when he and I were talking on the dock. He's never won a National High Points Championship, and he really wants to do it. Madison really hurt him, but he would still love to get that title and claim it. There's another thing he's never done. J. Michael Kelly has never been the top qualifier at one of our H1 events. Right now he's sitting on top, but I heard there's a blue boat in the water, and somebody's going to come out and knock it down.
Well, we're going to watch those times on the 1, but ultimately it's going to be about tech inspection, it seems like. I mean, it certainly is going to have the speed.
Well, he wants to get some points.
Yes.
And that's it. The time not recorded gets a goose egg. And again, we're back to that would be devastating.
Yeah, and that would all of a sudden Andrew Tate and J. Michael Kelly are that much closer in the High Point Championship.
That is exactly it. So I would look for them to run, a little bit more conservative. They've got to get some points, even if they were second fastest.
12's out now on the water.
I'm going to step away. I'm going to talk to an official here, and I'll be right back.
Special thanks to JMC Motorsports, your local Honda dealer. Wants you to be safe this boat race weekend. Plenty of water, sunscreen, and if you're enjoying libations, then have that designated driver. JMC Motorsports just across the Cable Bridge in Pasco, and now full online service for e-commerce at jmc-motorsports.com. Your WP suspension experts are at JMC Motorsports, just across the Cable Bridge in Pasco. American Radiator, bringing our pit reporters, Brad Luce and Glenn Vaughan. They've been keeping the Northwest cool since 1979, so it makes sense that they keep this year's Columbia Cup cool with updates from the pits. If you have heating problems, solve them at AmericanRadiator.com. Also, thanks to Legends Casino Hotel in Toppenish. Come play and stay. You'll enjoy incredible amenities, daily specials. Look them up now with the promotions available at legendscasino.com. Come see what everybody's talking about. Legends Casino Hotel in Toppenish, along with Local 598 plumbers and steam fitters, signatory contractors, and the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 112, the IBEW. Community-minded, community-involved, hosting a special viewing area for Gold Star families here at Columbia Park for the HAPO Columbia Cup. So out on the race course, Graham trucking Andrew Tate in the 12, and we felt that he was a little bit loose, although he said he was just driving the boat the way he likes it after his first qualifying run.
And there are drivers that like that. He's bouncing around down here, but there are drivers that like to feel a little bit on the edge. For whatever reason, one of my favorite NASCAR drivers was a little bit like that. Greg Biffle was a guy that liked to be on the edge.
So when he was in the 9, Kevin, remember Les Schwab and then Delta Real Track? Same type of story, he had a loose boat.
And it kind of bit him. Was it 2017 when he broke his leg? I can't remember what it was, 2017 or 2018, but he had that situation where he had to bow out of the weekend at one point. So he may like it that way, but it does present a little bit of risk.
Risk reward, that's what it's all about. 152.382 miles per hour.
That's slower than earlier.
Andrew Tate in the 12. But when you do race setup, it's all about being out on the water with other boats. It's completely different.
Yeah, and maybe that's what some of these teams are doing. They're perfectly content with their qualifying, and they wanted to get in a race setup practice. Because this is it. Next time out on the water, you guys are racing.
Up the Griggs Ace Hardware backstretch, and Griggs with 4 locations in the Tri-Cities with all you need for summer fun and a whole lot more. Reminder at the conclusion of our broadcast here at Columbia Park, the wrap-up show. Thanks to our good friend Jason Hogue at American Family Insurance. Why settle for number 2? American Family Insurance achieved the highest customer satisfaction score among mid-size insurers in the 2021 J.D. Power Insurance Shopping Satisfaction Study. So go with number 1, Jason Hogue. JasonHogue.com. Cross start finish line, a 152.988 miles per hour.
Yeah, he might be on race setup at this point. And I think he's powering it down. Like he wanted to get out there, get a couple hot laps in with the race setup maybe. Now maybe I'm wrong and it just was a little bit slower this time. It seems like most of the boats though have been going faster their second time out. So they're either working on them, getting them better, or something about the conditions are improving. But
yeah, and he will forego that third and final lap and head back to the pits after a 152.382 and a 152.988. And maybe just happy with race setup. That may be exactly what he's done.
So, and you know what? If these other guys out there are qualifying setup, and maybe, I don't know how quickly you can change from qualifying to race setup, but maybe that's what they'll have to do for the 1. Just put the race setup in.
Could be, and just get a valid time.
Yeah, and get something that's recorded.
Traffic watch on 610 KONA thanks to Bob's Burgers and Brew, Tri-City's favorite anytime restaurant. Before the races, after the races, get refueled at Bob's Burgers and Brew, Richland and Kennewick. Bob's, only the best. Go to bobsburgersandbrew.com to get more information. DMZ coverage, and we've seen some violations earlier in the E350 ranks, thanks to ESCO Electric, your Generac whole home generator, backup generator expert, Jerry and the crew at ESCO Electric, 547-5504, or let's go with ESCO.com. We'll take a quick time out. More coverage, HAPO Columbia Cup, coming up on News Radio 610 KONA and 610KONA.com.
Will make your race weekend a smooth, relaxing experience. Their great location in relationship to Columbia Park, Columbia Center Mall, and restaurants makes their hotel the perfect stay. Maximum space for movies with 36 flat-screen TVs, Wi-Fi, refrigerators, and coffee makers. Enjoy their complimentary hot breakfast, indoor pool, and outdoor pool hot tub, and fitness room. Contact Paul Hughes for delivery information by 975. Apollo Mechanical's been a proud part of the Tri-Cities community since 1981 and is ranked as the safest contractor in Washington State 9 years in a row. At Apollo, their mission is building people who build great things. Apollo Mechanical Contractors, proud sponsor of the 2021 Tri-Cities Water Follies.
Whenever possible.
Last time, and it is doing exactly the same thing. Just kind of touching ever so lightly off that water. A little bit of a kick there on the backstretch.
Heading up the Griggs backstretch. Again, that first lap, 163.203. And Brad, we questioned this, you know, if he didn't see any indicators in the cockpit and had too much fuel on the last runs, what kind of changes have they made? What kind of adjustments have they made so that he's more aware of what's happening?
Depending on whether or not it was an N2 or a fuel flow.
It was fuel.
Okay, then it's a matter of making some adjustments on the fuel flow valves and how long he holds his foot in it. He gets an indicator light if he's over. Sometimes if it's really quiet, you can hear the motor when he pulls his foot just to drop it off for a sec so that he doesn't get a continuous error message. What kind of a speed on 2?
159.458.
That tells me, and I'm not part of the team. Boy, he is tight on the pulley rope, Kevin.
He is right on the line.
Wow. That's beautiful, but that tells me he feels comfortable with that 163. Let's see what he does on this one. I said earlier, sometimes when you run a hot lap and you don't want to risk losing it, you'll take the next 2 slower so you don't risk losing the quick lap. He's the last guy to come out and qualify. He knows if that 163 is legal and he feels comfortable with it, he'll bring the boat back to the pit area and he will be the top qualifier. Sometimes they'll do it after they get the 1 lap in the books if they feel it is good. Here he comes. Get a speed on lap 3, Michael McDonald.
JMC Motorsports start-finish line 161.241 miles per hour. So the first lap 163.203, second lap 159.458, third lap 161.241.
And now we wait tech inspection.
We do await tech inspection. He is going to come off the race course. Things are happening very rapidly.
And they have to because our schedule's been compressed for the rest of the afternoon, Brad.
Yes, while Glenn and I were down interviewing drivers during the first half of the qualifying session, I heard the countdown clock for the 5-liter start.
Wow.
And that's why nobody got a watch set. I am up on top of the tower. I've got a watch set. The GPs are ready to go, just waiting for Jimmy Shane to be done. He is. The GPs are in the water. I am told by all of the radio guys who are a floor below me that they are all in the boat and ready to go.
Now, is Jimmy Malden in the 7? Are we going to see the premonition out?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Is Jimmy Malden in the 7? Will we see the 7 come out?
If we've got all 4 boats in the water.
Okay, that's a good sign.
So, but I do not know who is on board. If Glenn is down there on that dock, maybe he's close, can grab a crew member.
Well, we were told by a spotter up here that it would be Jimmy Malden in the GP7. Greg Hopp in the GP15. Then you have Big Ed Preston in the GP20. And the Grand Prix America 79 will be Jeff Bernard. So we get ready for the countdown for GP racing, and our thanks to Local 598, Plumbers, Steam Fitters, Signatory Contractors, along with IBEW, Local 112, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. And we'll get back to our countdown for Heat 1 of the Grand Prix America Series next on News Radio 610 KONA and 610KONA.com after this timeout.
The Click It RV Freedom Event has been extended to the end of July here at Click It RV in the Tri-Cities. Get here now through July 31st for summer deals, including the lowest prices on new and used RVs, no payments for 90 days financing, and $6,000